Hello, hello, hello. I am Wayne Johnson with Doc and Queen Ministries. Today I will be honoring white men. When I did the video on honoring black women, I felt that all through my life I really never had took the time to honor black women. So I felt called upon to do just that. And so as I was laying in bed one night, definitely after I had already done that video, I was led by the Father that I needed to honor others who have made a difference in my life, and that people just need to be honored for the things that they have done for you and through you. So I would like to come from this evening on Romans chapter 12, verse 10, and it reads, Love one another with brotherly affection, outdo one another in showing honor. I like to show honor to those who have helped me. And one thing you have to understand is it's not about the color of one's skin, but what's in their heart. For God sees what's in our heart. It is so truly a blessing to know that I am able to look at people in a way that God has me to look at them. God has been so good in my life. So I want to share with you right now. Not that in the big scheme of things is even important, whether they're male, female, the color of their skin, the height they are, the weight they are, their eating habits, etc., etc. It's more about what's in their heart and how they have affected you and the things that they have done to make you a better person. The first person I like to honor is Coach Harris. Coach Harris was my first recreational basketball coach. And the first year that I played basketball, and it was under Coach Harris, we won the championship. Coach Harris was a firm coach. Coach Harris at that time knew a lot that even they weren't even doing on the NBA level. So I learned a lot as a real young boy understanding the game of basketball. Me and his son actually went to school together, and it was just a joy because Coach Harris didn't live too far from our home. Coach Harris also worked at a grocery store, so from time to time you could go by and you could visit Coach Harris. Coach Harris actually looked like and even had a demeanor of a famous college basketball coach, Coach Bobby Knight.
Bell's excited. Bobby Knight's excited.
Who was at the University of Indiana for so long. Coach Harris is probably the reason why I was inspired to coach now. Coach Harris had real discipline. Coach Harris liked to win, but Coach Harris was a great motivator of young men. Coach Harris was the foundation for allowing me to play athletics in a way that was truly to the point of doing the best I could. Coach Harris, I thank you for all that you're doing and instilling basketball in me, but not only that, just being a good person. So I thank you, Coach Harris, for being in my life and inspiring me to do some of the things that I am currently doing today and helping others reach their potential. Another person that I would like to honor today is Coach Donahue. Coach Donahue was actually my psychology teacher at my high school. Coach Donahue is probably the reason why I major. Actually, it ain't probably. He is the reason why I major and have my bachelor's degree in psychology.
The psych major, complete wise ass.
When I took psychology, Coach Donahue taught psychology in a way that just made it so interesting. And so he made it to the point that you didn't want to let go of the books that he had inspired us to read. One of them was Living, Learning, and Loving by Leo Buscaglia. I believe that was the title. And that book just kind of like changed my life. It made me understand how important the mind was. So I majored in psychology and really take heed to the studying of psychology, and I enjoy the field of psychology. It has allowed me to be able to help others as I continue on my professional journey in helping young men and young boys in this world called life. I also like to thank one of my teachers who has passed, Mr. Dudley. Mr. Dudley was a fantastic history teacher. When I was in high school, Mr. Dudley had won the award for Teacher of the Year. Mr. Dudley was so unique as a teacher than any other teacher. Mr. Dudley was, one would probably say, kind of like goofy a little bit, but he had a great sense of humor. He was a joy to learn from. Coach Dudley cared for all of his students. He always had a joke for you, and he always kept history interesting. You could tell his concern and his love for children. Coach Dudley was a great man, and I know when we lost uh, teacher Dudley some years back that many of his students mourn his loss because he was such a wonderful person. So I honor teacher Dudley for being in my life. I next want to honor and thank Mr. Headley. I had a good friend of mine. She um, got me an interview at my first professional job straight out of college. And the interview was with Mr. Headley. And Mr. Headley pretty much hired me on the spot because of her recommendation. And me and Mr. Headley, we just clicked. Mr. Headley, I found out was actually married to at that time my middle school English teacher. Mr. Headley and I continue to have a great relationship even after I left the establishment that he hired me at. Mr. Headley was so great in my life because he helped me to grow professionally. He always counted on me. He actually even offered me a lead position before I left. And so Mr. Headley had a lot of confidence in me. Mr. Headley supported me even when I begun coaching. Mr. Headley just has been a fabulous person for me. So I will always be grateful for Mr. Headley. And lastly, I want to thank, and no, I take that back. Not lastly, I also want to thank two people who have indirectly affected my life and allow me to say I'm able to live this life that I'm living. One is Ray Perry, and he was a supervisor for my wife at her job, and he was instrumental in allowing her to move up the corporate ladder. Mr. Perry was a nice man, and he gave my wife the opportunity to be the professional and was one of the real reasons that she is able to have the position that she currently has now. So Ray Perry, we thank you for all that you have done for our life. And I'm sure in many ways we would even be where we are if it wasn't for you. I also like to thank Jim Rosie, who also worked with my wife at that time. And he was just so nice and he took me out and he got me to hang around some of the fellow co-workers that worked at my wife's job, and he was just so instrumental with his kindness, his jokes, taking me out. Um, just a warm and delightful guy. Always had a smile on his face and just a good person to be around. So I thank you as well, Jim Rosie. Lastly, I like to thank um, Jim Kerr.
You're not Jim.
Who currently works with me at my job, but now to actually Monday will be his last day with us. But he has been such an inspiration to me, and I know he doesn't even realize. I was able to go to him in times of trouble. I was able to go to him during good times, and he's always been great with me professionally and helping me to navigate throughout the job. I thank Jim Curry for how he treats not only me, but how he has treated others. So I thank you, Jim Curry, for all that you do. I wish you well in your next endeavor throughout life. I know that we will still be close, and I thank you for all you do. Understand that we all can play a role in people's lives, and we don't even sometimes realize how we affect them. So we must put our best foot forward when we are in front of people and do our best to try to help people. I thank you for this time. I thank you for this moment. And I hope that this inspires others to understand how people play in their lives and how they play in others' lives. Have a great day and God bless.